Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video, we are looking at Eos Energy Enterprises. It is time for an update. And in the previous video, we had identified here a potential trade setup. We had identified a potential initial 5 move to the upside. So we have been looking for a 3-wave correction into the support zone, which has already taken place, before continuation to higher prices within at least another 5 move to the upside. Based on what we have at hand, we have to credit that this structure has fulfilled all of these expectations. It could be that we are building the wave 3 in yellow, but frankly it is not necessary. We would have a complete correction, and by the way, in case you haven't noticed, we have a slightly updated count for the blue structure, but it doesn't change much. It would still allow this structure to be extending to lower prices. We would still have levels of resistance to watch out for, and we would still have the threat of having a complete 3-wave pattern in place. Now, some interesting things happen because from a smaller time frame perspective, the opportunity is actually still there. We may have just gotten a confirmation that a more substantial bottom would actually be in, that we would be following through within the yellow interpretation instead. And in such a scenario, we can actually expect a pretty substantial and strong breakout, because in the larger time frame, to also provide a full context picture, we would be tracking here a wave 1 to the upside. I'm not claiming that this would be a diagonal pattern or whether it would be an impulse. I am focusing on the idea of a wave 1. I have here a wave 2 correction that already has 3 waves to the downside, so it doesn't need any further extensions. And it has reached its support zone. It has done enough. So the potential for this structure to be extending within a wave 3 is actually quite impressive. It is massive. We would be looking to reach the 138.2% extension of the wave 1. That sits at $529. It's not quite 100x, but I actually wouldn't even rule out such a possibility. From the current levels, not from the low we had within this as a wave 2. Now, of course, we do not know that this will work out within a wave 3. Even in a successful breakout, we could be looking at a wave C to be taking place. And in such a scenario, the ideal target is instead at the 100% extension of a wave A, right? This could turn into an A, B, C structure. That's at $141. It's still a nearly 20x, and then we could consider that it might not successfully reach those levels within the wave C. The wave C doesn't actually have to get there. Let's say we maybe only reach the 78.6% extension. That is the next most common target for a wave C. Well, even that is at $67. Even then, from the current prices, we are looking at 680% in gains. There is clearly a lot of potential here, given the data center infrastructure need for storing power. I believe this is really a matter of time. We might be getting the full reset, we might be building this wave C in blue. I cannot tell you at this point, but the potential is there and I'm looking to take a part of it, especially when within the smaller time frame, I could be looking indeed for this to have been a wave C. But I believe we can track something more bullish. We could be looking at this to be just a wave C. After all, it has reached the 78.6% extension of the wave A. But we could also be tracking this as another wave 1 up. Then we would have here a wave 2 down. And we would still be holding the levels of support for such a structure. That's one part, because from these lows, we actually have another degree of confirmation. I am tracking internally a 5 move to the upside. I am tracking an impulse, which allows me to look with high probabilities for continuation to higher prices after a 3-wave correction into the support zone. This allows me to watch the levels of support between $8.1 down to $7.2, and as long as we do not get a sustained break below the 78.6% retracement, we can still prefer continuation to higher prices and the next move up, even if this is still part of a blue wave B. I would still expect it to be a wave 3, Because I could track this, I suppose, as an A, B, C pattern, but even within the wave C, I expect a 5-wave pattern. I would expect a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. This alone, I believe, could give us a 30, 40, 50% return, even if it is just part of a wave B. If this is indeed following through the yellow interpretation, having a triple 1-2 setup here, I would expect it to take off quite aggressively. I would expect this wave 3 to very likely directly take out the previous highs on this chart. So this could be the base to launch this entire uptrend. With all of this said, we do not know that this will work out. Even the best setups fail at times. As you can notice, we even have to account for an overshoot within this as a wave B. I do like it as an overshoot, I only see 3 waves up anyway, but still. Now, in terms of the internal correction here, I would highly expect to at least reach $8.10. I would not generally be expecting to form a deep retracement within the third 1-2 setup in a series. In fact, I'm not too happy that even this as a secondary 1-2 setup has formed such a deep retracement. We have held the levels of support nonetheless, so we can still allow this to work out, but this is mostly on the basis that we have formed a follow-up 5-wave pattern up. Now, if this structure is to fail, it may still be salvageable. I may be able to track a slightly different pattern here that would allow the uptrend to actually still continue. We could perhaps be considering something like a 5-wave move to the upside in this manner. But with such a structure, it might be best to be waiting for confirmation after building an internal 3-wave correction. Personally, I am currently focusing only on the internal structure. I am only watching this as an internal 1-2 setup, and I am looking for a 5-wave pattern to form within this wave C in yellow. There are a few ways we could see this play out. I could consider this to be the wave 1 down, the wave 2 up, and I would probably prefer for the wave 3 to be extending a little bit longer. Then we could be looking for a wave 4 and a wave 5 to complete this as an overall wave C, completing this as an overall wave 2. But from a larger time frame perspective, I have to say, if we reach the support levels, we would have fulfilled the minimum expectations. And we need to be prepared for a bottom to be in. We need to be prepared for the reversal. And for now, we will stop here. These are the levels. This is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and if you enjoyed the content and want to support it directly, check out the channel membership, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.